Okay, mate. Yeah, let's look at UMA here. I actually did read your post one day, and obviously I must have forgot. But yeah, definitely, let's have a look at UMA. Try and figure out what is actually going on. Well, the first thing pops out on the chart, of course, is the fact that there is this huge volume right there. In theory, of course, down here, this should be support. Down in this area, that's a very, very large volume. Now, there is a bearish stop hunt on it, which is not ideal, but that's what caused the sell-off. Once this stop hunt was in place, technically, it's bearish then, because that's a failed move higher. So as soon as price was, below this level right here, that is bearish. So if you had bought above this, once it's below this level, you need to get out of your longs. And obviously, if you had, I don't know, buying somewhere else, it very well could have moved higher back up here to take liquidity here, but it hasn't done that yet. In theory, it should come back up there at some point. But when this was in place, it gets dangerous buying UMA until price gets above the stop hunt level, which is there, okay, which is up here. So it's important to learn from trades, of course, and it's important to study them. There is a potential another stop hunt at the lows here, right? If we look at this right here, so there is a potential stop hunt here as well. Price trying to hold above this stop hunt level at the moment. So I'm actually going to add this here for just a support level, so we can look at it on different time frames, so we can see how important this level will be now going into the future. If price did drop down to here, I think it's probably a great place to add. That's if you are still stuck in your trade, which I assume you are somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm just saying, if it drops down to this yellow line, it's likely a very good place to be adding to lower your average buy, your average cost, and then that would help you get out of the trade, either in profit or at break even. But anyway, let's have a look to see if this can get any strength from around this area and see what it's doing. So of course, it's red on the week. It is forming a bullish pattern overall. It's above this white 100 moving average. It is forming a bullish blueprint for success pattern. These can take many weeks to develop, and unfortunately sometimes they need patience. For example, we can go back here to ADA and you can see the drop, and it takes many weeks to develop. Still bullish as long as it holds above the white 100. So if we go back to UMA here, well, in theory, this is doing something very similar in the fact that it's consolidating, dropping and consolidating. It's probably testing your patience. The market is testing everybody's patience at the moment, but as long as the pattern stays intact, it's still okay, as long as you're not going to break down below this white 100. So there's no real changes, from the last time we talked about it. It's still doing its thing. Granted, it is a bearish week. The market overall had a bad week. The whole market dropped. Everything almost is having a red. Bitcoin just dropped there a little bit. Everything is having a red week this week almost. If there is a flush on this, it could be considered a place to buy. We did talk about down in that other level, but if it does flush, you may consider adding to a position down below here, below the range. That is often a very good place to be buying, to be adding, to then get some sort of bounce back into the range, and you would have an overall better entry point. And if this does end up running, hopefully you have a decent entry. Anyway, as you can see here, it's just doing its thing. It's stuck. It's crazy. This is a 2-week chart, and that's insane. The craziness of this. You have to say it's a little bit of a weakness sign, of course, because it's still consolidating. You would like to see some sort of stop hunt here potentially, to then get the real move and get some continuation. It's unfortunate that it got stuck in this range. It's a pretty bad range, of course. It looks like it wants to flush. Maybe the flush has already started in a way, because we're closing below. This was a 2-week chart, and we are below all of this range here. So maybe the flush has already started. But let's just move on up to a higher time frame here. Yeah, still red on the month. I think what you have to hope for here is maybe this. It's unfortunate it didn't move higher after this candle, the green candle here. But what it could be doing, and what you suppose can hope for, is the fact that it might be taking liquidity in this lower wick before popping up and flipping green. There is 26 days left in this candle, so there's a long time left. So obviously it would be nice to see some strength probably right here, to be honest, and then start moving back up. But you know, it's not showing that yet. It's still well, it's red here on the quarter as well, and dips. You know, dips here are very normal. Overall, this still looks bullish. You know, but you have to think dips into, that's the middle point of the candle roughly. They are often good places to be buying for the next leg higher. So you know, technically things are okay, but I can imagine it's testing your patience. This wick up here is also untapped yet. Eventually price should come back up and fill this wick. This still does look like breakout volume. We've had the range and we've had the breakout. After breakout volume, it usually means that dips are buys to then go higher. Okay, so you know, we do have a major range up here at the $8 or so. You could say, yeah, well, this first high kind of front ran here, but there's definitely a bigger range above that price. So you would expect dips here to be buys and eventually go higher. At the moment, like everything else, it's having a red quarter. In theory, this is good. In theory, like other coins, you know, dropping first before moving higher is often very good. What you don't want to see is a move higher first and then fail and drop. So these dips are usually a good buying opportunity to go higher in the overall market.